All right, guys and gals, Crypto Kurt here. It is Friday, October 13th, 2017. Hope you guys put the black cats away and didn't have any dramas today. So I got to give a quick shout out to JSnip4. He was the first one that did a video on this ICO, which is currently happening. He made a couple of misstatements, which I'll clear up as we go through the video. First off, this is not the ICO. It's actually the pre-ICO, and we'll look at the difference, which isn't much, really, between the pre-ICO and the ICO. The other thing good old JSnip4 mentions is that this is the crypto version of Alibaba. That is completely incorrect. This is not a B2C platform. This is a B2B platform. So this is going to be a platform that's going to allow manufacturers to basically get some funding to be able, manufacturers and resellers to be able to get the funding required to keep their business going and grow their business. Okay, so let's get into it real quick. Have a quick squiz at the website, which is handelion.io. That's Handelion.io. You can see that currently there's 11 days left in the pre-ITO. And basically, it says it's the future of international trade. Companies purchase goods on margin. Sellers get their 100% prepayment. Logistics and accompanying services provide their solutions for trade. And investors get a guaranteed return from inter-parties deals. So that's what I'm excited about. So again, this is another passive income play with regards to the crypto. So that's what drew my attention to it. And again, I wanted to do a bit of a deep dive into the paper. And there are some things that are confusing and some things that are exciting, and we'll look at all of that above. And of course, I've got a U-Butte calculator I've built to have a play with what the potential revenues could be for us. So the company itself, the gentlemen come from an organization I think called Quant. I'm not really going to waste too much time on that, but they launched a company called TradeBacking.com in 2016. Here is the site, TradeBacking.com. I did a little bit of homework on the site and went and looked at the who is. The site was actually registered on the 12th, so that's December 1st of 2016, and they've only registered it for a year. So again, is that telling? I don't know, hard to say. A lot of people only do the registrations for a year. But, those people that are hardcore business people, they tend to pay for the 5 or 10 years because they get discounts. So, again, that was a little bit of a question for me. Back to this, though. So they've got trade backing that's been running for a year. It's a nice website. Basically, we'll get into the nitty-gritty of what the platform actually is going to do in a second. Since the start of 2009, they've been striving to reach an excellent niche of B2B services. So, again, this is not B2C. You and I will not. The example that JSnip4 gave was that he was hoping he was going to be able to save the $60 fee that they were going to charge him to do a transfer to the Alibaba platform to a bank in Hong Kong. That's not going to happen. This is not for the end user. This is for business to business. This is a business to business platform. Okay, so basically you can get a commission for use of funds in trading deals. All right, so there's two kind of commission tiers by holding the token. You receive part of commissions generated by Handelion, and you get to keep a digital token with a growing value on a cryptocurrency market. They do have a buyback program built into the platform as well, which we can take a look at. We are going to look at a deep dive on the white paper. Here's a little bit of a play. So we're launching. This is us right now. End of the ITO, and then to start the whole ecosystem marketing play. And I will say, look, the white paper has a lot of information, and it looks like it's a well thought out process. And again, we'll have a look at some of the diagrams, some of the full-on diagrams. This is the board of directors. These people are out of Latvia. I went and actually had a look at each of the LinkedIn profiles. Most of these guys have worked for a company called Quant since 2013. And again, I think it's a Latvian agency that does finance for production, basically for manufacturers and resellers. I thought this was interesting. This is one of the first ICOs that I've seen where they have outsourced the development to a company called SWD Factory Company. And these guys and these guys aren't spring chickens. You don't see a bunch of adolescent faces here. Maybe this guy might be a millennial, but everyone else looks like they got a few years on their back. Again, I don't know if that's good or bad. I'm guessing they're out of Latvia as well. But it is what it is. So, they've got some information here. They do have a video on the website. The video is actually quite boring. I've lived overseas for a number of years, so I can understand accents pretty well these days. There's some thick accents here. If you live in America, you might have a hard time understanding the accents. And they're really not hyping the ICO. They're actually telling you what the business model is about. That's interesting. Had a look at the LinkedIn page. Not much there. Had a look at the Facebook page. A little bit there. Looks like they've been posting since about the beginning of October. Twitter. Don't go to Twitter because they're not communicating on Twitter. Okay, so let's have a look at the white paper. Okay, so there are three major issues that are slowing down the wholesale trade today. Okay, buyers have a lack of working capital. Sellers prefer to release goods after the 100% prepayment. And investors do not trust the collateral in transit. Okay, so that's an issue. With the existing tradebacking.com service, they've fixed all this. So basically, they enable buyers to buy goods on margin. They enable sellers to get 100% prepayment, and they provide investors with a guaranteed return. You can see that they launched the trade backing in November 2016. I mention this primarily because I do like the concept of ICOs that have a working business model, that aren't just starting from absolute scratch. These guys are doing this already. They're just not doing it on the blockchain. So the whole concept here is they're ICOing to get the money to develop the blockchain to put this information, or put this capability, this financial transaction capability on the blockchain. You can get into the details. Look, they've grown the business. It looks like they've grown the business quite well. Again, there's a lot of information in the white paper at the bottom of the white paper about the business and the growth and all of that. And that's interesting. That's not really what this is about today. Basically, the opportunity in brief. You will contribute to the speed and transparency of international trade, participation in Handelion platform development, and trade funding platforms. You have an opportunity to get a commission for use of your funds in trading deals. You have an opportunity to receive a part of generated commissions and transparently control it. And then you have growth of value, which means the capital appreciation of the tokens themselves. This is a unique offer, 3-in-1, and by the time of writing this white paper, no such other offer existed on the market. So let's take a look at a quick business case and see how this thing would actually work in the real world. Okay, so our client is importing branded sports inventory to Russia. The inventory comes from Malaysia and Italy and goes to the warehouse in the EU. The total period of delivery makes up 40 days. After delivery, goods are being kept in the warehouse for 2 to 3 months and then exported to Russia. So our client asked us for funding their purchase deals, as they were planning to increase the turnover, but their funds were already frozen in delivery. Now this is the issue that they're trying to tackle, this concept of 100% prepayment to purchase goods, but then you have to turn around and sell the goods, and then you have to turn around and collect the money. So I can see a lot of recent ICOs being able to plug into this platform, and maybe we'll look at that in another video, but this thing's kind of covering a lot of that same space about the invoice financing and, again, just the timing of doing business and the drama, especially with regards to doing business internationally, and then, of course, all the excess fees that have to be paid for the financial transactions, the accounts, the solicitors, the lawyers, the contract, blah, 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 blah. Okay. So these people want to grow the business, but they don't have any more cash flow because they've purchased as much as all their cash flow is tied up in deliveries. So our analysis department checked the client's background, structure of deals, and our credit committee decided to fund the deal. We received the client's prepayment at the amount of 100,000 euros and paid the total sum of 225,000 euros to producers of the sports inventory. We have delivered the goods to our approved warehouse. In 1 month after the delivery, our client had started the process of buying out goods. By the end of a 2-month period, the client had successfully bought out all the inventory and was planning the next purchase. Therefore, the client had received a fast increase in turnover, the capital holder had received his commission for use of capital, and we had received our commission. So let's think this through a little bit. So the client wants to buy a bunch of stuff to sell. They don't have the cash to actually pay for the stuff. So they put up, in this model, they're asking, Handelion is going to ask for the client to put up 30% of the total purchase price. Okay? So they put up 30% of the total purchase price. The Handelion investment group covers the other 70% that pays the distributor or the producer, the manufacturer of the goods immediately, so that the manufacturer then ships the goods. Then the goods get put into the warehouse, and then the reseller has the time to go resell the goods. And when they're finished reselling the goods, they then pay back the 70% that was outstanding because they've taken their profits from their goods. They've made the profit. They take that profit. They use some of that profit to pay back the 70%, and then they also pay a commission fee. Okay, so the commission fee is how the Handelion platform is going to make its money. It's going to make its money two ways. It's going to make its money on the loan, and then it's going to make its money on, I think, charging access to get into the system as well. All right, so here's just a quick diagram showing kind of the whole process of buying and selling, manufacturing, buying, and selling goods internationally. And at the moment, these guys are going to be working with 4 groups of parties out of this whole list. The goods trading parties, the buyers, the investors, the private investors, and then the institutional investors. I believe in part of their growth, they actually want to move out into all of these others and offer smart contract solutions for all of these scenarios. But again, this is part of the growth over the next 10 years. This is where the company's focusing in the short term. This is a quick peek at the process that we just kind of described in that case study. So you have an entity that gets authorized to register and create a profile. They go through a compliance check. They meet the participation criteria. They go through another compliance check. They then have access to funding. Oops. Then there's a deal matching. Then there's approval. Then there's a smart contract created, approval, and then system manages the contract. The contract manages everything from that point forward. Here's another schematic from hell. So again, this is a little bit of their process. I'm not even going to try to go through this, but you can see that this is what the smart contract is basically going to handle. So you can see there's a lot of humanity built into this right now, which means there's a lot of extra costs built into this right now. Every one of these little movements, someone's making $1, right? So the smart contract is going to replace most of this, and that's where our commission is going to come from. All right, so let's drill down into the ICO itself. And this is where I've got a few issues because the numbers don't match up. Well, let me just put it this way. As we'll see, there's going to be potentially 4 different total circulating tokens available depending on which thing you believe in the white paper. And I'm just going to put it out there right now. You know what? If anyone is planning an ICO and developing a white paper, I'm offering my services right now to review that thing and to offer advice on how to make it easy for the end user to read, because I think some of these people are trying to get so fancy with the calculations and making it look like it's an accounting, an approved accounting document and shit. They're not answering the most basic questions. Still, perfect example. Nowhere in this 33-page white paper does it actually say how we're going to get paid out. Now, based on my experience reading dozens of these things, it's a well-written white paper, but it's so frustrating when these people want to sell something and they don't even give you the most basic piece of information like, how are you going to get paid? I'm assuming it's in ETH, and I'm going to ask the question, and JSnip4 is going to do an interview with one of the top guys, and he's asking for people to put forward questions, and I'm going to put forward 2 or 3 questions, one of which, how are we getting paid? The most stupid question in the world that I shouldn't even have to ask. God, that just pisses me off. It should be in the paper. Okay. So let's have a look at this thing. We won't worry about the need for crowdfunding. We know that. Through the ICO, HDLT tokens will be issued and managed via the Ethereum platform. Okay, during the pre-ICO, tokens will be exchanged versus Ethereum. Okay, we're in the pre-ICO right now. During the ICO, tokens will be exchanged versus liquid cryptocurrencies and fiat money. So they'll accept Bitcoin, ETH, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash, XRP, Euro, USD. And then it says the swap of HDLT tokens will be available here on the site. The swap meaning you can exchange. You can actually buy the cryptos. This is another big question that the paper just skims right past. During the ICO, 23% of issued tokens will be exchanged 1-to-1 to Handelion system coins called the Hands. These coins are a system currency for transactions with Handelion. Hands will be exchanged to support current demand generated by TradeBacking.com service. New coins will be issued for smart contract needs and versus fiat or crypto money. Okay, another big red question. All right, 23% of these tokens are going to be changed into these tokens. Does that mean that 23% of the tokens that I buy in the ICO are going to turn into a hand and I'll have a second token? Does that mean that 23% of the total payout tokens will be removed from the total circulation, and so therefore we have to remove 23% from the total calculation? There's so many questions this raises, and it really irritates me because it doesn't have to be this confusing. The pre-ICO amount, 2.25 million. So 2.25 million. And so that's in the pre-ICO, and that is at a rate of, they have it down here. The pre-ICO is going to be at a rate of, no, sorry, I have to go over to the, I'm logged in now, so I've jumped over to the actual login where you buy the tokens because the information in the white paper is incorrect. They give you some exchanges here, some exchange numbers. Those are not correct. They've been changed and updated here. I'm assuming at this point, because I'm getting ready to, if you're going to buy some, you're going to do it from this page here. This is going to be the what you're actually going to get. So 1 Ether is going to get you 303 of these tokens. That includes a 20% bonus, okay? Now, again, it's a little bit more confusing here because when we go to the bonus model, you can see that in the pre-ICO, we're getting a 20% bonus. But during the ICO, they're going to be issued in 5 tiers, and they're also getting a 20% bonus. So in the pre-ICO, they're offering 2.25 million shares that you can purchase with Ethereum. And then for the ICO, they are offering tiered amounts with different amounts of bonuses as we go along. Now here again, what's frustrating for me, we have 2.25 and we have 27.5. Which takes that to, if I go back to my spreadsheet, that takes it to 29,750,000 tokens that will be sold in total. But when you come down here and you add those up, those add up to be 25 million. So is it 25 million? Is it 29 million? Or is it 29 million minus the 23%, which takes us to 22 million? Or is it 25 million minus the 23%, which would take us to another? And granted, these are important numbers, guys, because the number of circulating tokens are going to affect our payouts in a big way. So again, this white paper, though well written, I just found it very irritating when I was trying to go through this. And I spent a couple of hours trying to figure this out and go through this and do all these comparisons. So that's why it was a little bit of a frustration. Once they get the money, 23% goes to cover the administration, 23% goes to the deal capitalization, and 54% goes into the marketing and the platform development. In case anyone's wondering, they do have some kind of bonus plan that's not available now, so I'm not getting any kickback from doing this. Hopefully, maybe they'll watch the video and someone will send me some tokens, but there's nothing in the white paper actually says it'll be on the website. It's not on the website. There's nothing on the website. So lots of questions about the total amount of circulating tokens that are going to be out there. It's a big variable. And of course, the other question is if they don't sell out, they might not sell out. So again, the total amount might meet their minimum level criteria, but it might not actually sell out the total amount. So again, we'll have to see how that plays out. When we look at the income possibilities here, so again, in my spreadsheet example, I'm taking all my numbers directly from their supposition here and their assumptions here. You can see that basically this is all their top-end stuff. Here we have the HDLT investors' income from commissions. Another big question, why is it 344 every year? Why are we getting the same amount every year even though the net offering profit's going up and theoretically the platform commission is increasing? That's a big question for me. It doesn't make any sense. This is the second part of the income. This is after, after the operating profits put out. You can see it's 66, and these are, and here's another confusing thing. This is all in euros. So again, we have to do some calculations in that. So we have, let me see, hang on. We have 66,000 euros plus 344,000 euros, which gives us 410,000 euros, which is then going to be distributed out to the token holders. Again, we have 344 in year 2019, 2,211 million euros, which gives us 255. And again, this is where I got the math, guys. So I'm taking the math directly out of their assumptions and then putting it into a calculator like I do, so we can play around with our income. So let's do that now. We're already on 19 minutes, and I hate for these to run so long. I don't know where the time goes. It doesn't seem like I've been talking 20 minutes, I tell you. Okay, so as I said, my second question third question. So the first question is, what are we getting paid out in? Second question is, will the real circulating volume of tokens stand up, please? And third, no, that's it. Those would be the two questions. So guys, this is from a dividends point of view, not a get-rich-quick play. And I wouldn't consider this a buy and flip. I think, look, this is a financial play. They're going to have to build the platform. I'm sure when the ICO comes out, there's going to be a spike, but it'll sell off. It'll be just like, a Populous or a Salt. It'll spike up and then it'll settle down, because the reality is no one knows exactly what this platform's going to be worth. Again, the company's making some assumptions and suppositions, but it is still kind of guesswork. So we can see that if we buy 1 ETH, if we spend 1 ETH based on the current, if we buy in the pre-ICO and we get the 20% bonus, we're going to get 303 tokens. At 303 tokens, we're getting a monthly payout of 0.35 euros, annual earnings of 4.18 euros. If I do the exchange rate as of today, it's 1.18, which makes it $4.93. And if we exchange to AUD, euro to AUD at the moment, it's 1.51. So we're getting $6.31. In 2019, 2.5 million euros, again 303 tokens, annual income 25 euros, USD $30. 2020, we're now 13 million, 303 tokens, making 135 euros a year. That's $159 US. If we go out to 2022, 112 million, 303 tokens, 95 euros a month. That's 1,100 euros per year, and that's $1,347 per year. If we stuck with our 303 tokens and held them out to 2022, you'd be looking at $1,923 in passive income. Now, there's another big question here, and this is the buy and hold ETH concept. So I'm going to play devil's advocate. What happens if you took that ETH and just put it in your wallet and held it out to 2022? I've done another video in a previous, another ICO, the Spectre, where I start doing some assumptions on what the tokens could be worth, because they pay out an ETH. We're assuming this pays out an ETH. If this is actually paying out an ETH, you can do some assumptions of the growth of this potential money. And, if I was using a 10 times growth model, and again, I'll do the math. It's too long in this video to do the math there. I'll do another one, and we'll look at these numbers using some ETH growth assumptions. But again, at the moment, I'm assuming we're paid in ETH. So that's, I don't want to make any videos like I did with the 10X where I have to redo the same video 4 times because, the white paper had it wrong. So anyway, that is what it is. All right, guys, so let's do some fun math. So let's say you're going to buy 2 ETH. We're going to say 606. Now we're looking at $2,694, almost 3,500 Australian. Let's say we want to go 1818. And so now you're looking at, again, 2022, 8,000 a year. And let's say you want to throw 50 ETH at it, so that means you're going to get about 15,000 tokens. Now you're talking some money. Put 50 ETH in, and you're looking at 66,000 of passive income per year by the year 2022. Again, had you put it all in there, 50 ETH, you now would have generated $95,233 in passive revenues. And we can't even speculate on what the value of these tokens is going to be when they start generating that kind of money. Again, the concept is, you talk about the net present value of these payouts going out in the future, bringing it back. Again, you'd have to go out and do that formal math, but the value of these tokens is going to blow up as these start paying out. So once again, guys, today is the first day of the rest of your life. Here's just yet another opportunity to look at a passive income producing token. It is, again, a super niche market. It is not the Alibaba of cryptos. This is a B2B platform which is going to allow resellers to approach manufacturers, use this middleman platform to leverage their money and leverage their investment and buy that much more product to allow them to grow their business that much more faster, increase their cash flow, etc., etc. All right, guys, hope this has been helpful. Again, I'll come back around with another one as a follow-up. If you have any questions, obviously put them in there. I would say, look, if you have serious questions, go to realnews.net. I think that's Jay Snip4's website. And contact him, and he's actually collecting questions to be asking these guys directly. He has asked, don't write a paragraph, just give me some bullet point questions. I'll be sending in my 2 or 3 questions as well, get those answered. And maybe, who knows, maybe we can get the guys on my channel as well. We'll see how we go. All right, all. Crypto Kurt out.